The design I'm using on Musader.com I had originally made for my now ex-boyfriend's website based around his movie making and radio stuff. I ended up really liking the layout, and as I began working to figure out a layout for my own website, I figured what the heck, I made the layout, I can reuse it. One of the bigger focuses for me when designing a core page layout is the navigation bar. This is the very first thing I always look at, and I design the rest of the page around that. Is it going to be vertical or horizontal? Is it going to have drop-down menus or just buttons? For Ethan's site, I had a very simple navigation of basic categories. His website page hierarchy was a lot more shallow than it is for Musader.com, so it worked well. When altering the layout for my page, I had to figure out if I would keep the same style navigation bar or not. I ended up deciding to keep it, even though this meant I would have to add more directory pages and adding more steps it takes to get to a leaf page. However, I felt like the extra one page you'd go through versus my other site was okay because with the category listings page, I am able to add visual cues to sections as well as brief descriptions so everything is more straightforward and hopefully easier to navigate. With the category listings pages, I could also have duplicate pages linked in different listings, such as tutorials being under both projects and resources. The nav bar itself is really simple. It's using CSS3 so the links have some gradient backgrounds. They're uniform size, aligned to the left. I generally don't like center alignment for content unless it's something like a focal image or a headline for a page. I also don't like images for my nav bar buttons. These are just text on top of a background, very simple and clean. The header as a whole takes up less space than my old page's header. I really didn't like how much space there was between the top of the page and the beginning of the page content. You should be able to see the main page content above the fold or the height of the page without scrolling at all. For the color, I liked the original layout that I had made, but I didn't want to reuse the same color theme. I ended up making it somewhat bluish purple because the page already was blue and purple is my favorite color. But since my user base tends to be primarily male, I tried to go closer for blue. Besides, I hate when women-themed things are all pink, of all things. I like purple because it's a nice shade, but I don't want to shallowly just theme everything of mine purple purely because of my gender. The page content backgrounds are a gradient of light blue going to a slightly darker light blue. I wanted it to have some contrast from the blue-purple parts of the page, and nothing else looked good at that time. I don't like colors like straight blue, red, green, black, and others. The text on my page is all dark blue or gray. I feel that it softens the look a bit. The contrast between the text and the page is less harsh. I heard once that colors easiest on the eyes for reading is brown text on manila paper, so I try to use the same sort of ratio with other colors. Another important thing, in my opinion, is visual cues. People generally don't spend a lot of time reading on websites when they're searching for something. I don't read a lot on websites when I'm trying to find something specific. I have descriptions next to my category links to clarify in case it's unclear what the section is for, but it also has thumbnail samples of the content on the page. This makes it easier for returning members to get to where they want to go, and also gives a hint to what is in there. When designing a page, I first start out by writing down everything I'm going to want on that page. Then I'll spend some time trying to sketch out some wireframes to try to fit everything together. Step 3 consists of writing the markup but not styling with CSS. I like to design the flow of the markup and have it be clean prior to styling anything. CSS is relatively flexible. If you write your markup in a way that makes sense to do what you want to do, you can probably style it appropriately. After that comes the styling with CSS, and spending time tweaking and refining. If there's a repetition of things on the page, I will go ahead and add a placeholder XML file and plug that into the page so that I can see a somewhat finished product and tweak it some more. I still haven't gotten to the point of writing all the final content on the pages, so at this point I am done until I come back and become a content writer later. It's probably really hard to learn this stuff without working with others, and it also just takes a lot of practice so you're decently fluent with using your tools and creating what comes to mind. I only worked in web development for a year, but I learned a lot in that time. Next Musader redevelopment video, I'm planning on showing off what the new tutorial pages will look like. Thanks for watching!